BTS's Jungkook was caught on camera at Incheon Airport with a face full of pressure. And what makes things even more surprising, Taehyung came first, but did not speak a word. Why are there expressions like that? What's really going on? Is it about someone leaving or someone abandoned? BTS's Jungkook flies to America. Taehyung's voice is so loud. Why? Who would have thought that a simple departure at the airport could shake the hearts of millions of soldiers around the world? Who could have guessed that from just one facial expression, a storm of questions could explode everywhere, filling social media with speculation, tears, and fear? But that's exactly what happened that day. An ordinary morning at Incheon Airport turns into a silent stage full of suspense. And in the midst of it all there are two inseparable names, Jungkook and Kim Taehyung. Jungkook, in a black hoodie and hat lowered to cover most of his face, appeared in the Incheon Airport check-in line at a brisk pace and slightly lowered his head.
No smiles, no nods.
Only silence, and a pair of visible eyes could not hide fatigue or an emergency. But is that all that makes the army feel something is wrong? The question becomes sharper as the cameras show Taehyung standing just before him, seemingly standing still, as if waiting for something or someone. But what makes it all the more confusing? They don't greet each other. No hand code. No eye contact. There is not even an expression that leads to interaction. Two best friends, two halves of one BTS soul. But that morning, as if separated by an invisible wall. What does this mean? Some said, it was just an ordinary moment. They're just tired. But is it really that simple? Because this departure time is not just any time. It's a departure that keeps too many questions behind it. Jungkook flew to the United States in a situation that was not ideal. There are rumors about sasaengs fans who continue to hunt him. There were whispers that he was leaving not just for music, but to calm the heart. And what's even more jarring, this happens amid silence from HYB, who is usually very quick to clarify. Then, there is one small fact that holds a big clue. The check-in procedure at Incheon Airport does not allow passengers to pass right away. After check-in, passengers have to wait about 5 minutes for the baggage scanning process. And for those 5 minutes, Jungkook stood there not opening his phone, not turning his head, not talking to anyone. Just stand up. And somehow, it hurts more than a goodbye. What was he thinking in those 5 minutes? Was he expecting someone to come? Is he holding on to something too heavy to share? Even more mysteriously, from another camera angle taken by the fan site, Taehyung appears to be looking towards Jungkook at a glance. Just a glance. But enough to make netizens ask, was it a longing gaze or a wound? Why did Taehyung choose to remain silent? Even though everyone knows, V is not the type to hold back words when it comes to the people he loves. Did they quarrel? Does this have anything to do with the Jimin incident that previously disappeared from the public radar? And one more detail could not be overlooked. Jungkook wore the same hat that he wore when he last appeared with Jimin at HYB's closed-door event. Is that a signal? Is he sending a silent message to someone who might be watching his photos from a distance? This trip is not just about departure abroad. To some, this looks like an escape. But from what? Or from whom? The fact that the camera captures this tension, that the world captures emotion in the form of still images, is something incredible and painful. Because if it is true that they are in conflict, if it is true that there are invisible wounds, then why should they hide them from each other? Aren't they brothers who always say, "We can't live without each other"? Is this just temporary, or has something changed? Taehyung's expression that morning was not only cold, but like harboring something heavy. He came first, then left first. But his eyes, at the last moment, looked at the direction of Jungkook's departure. Did he expect there would be a callback? Or, vice versa, he is waiting for someone to restrain his own pace. Some call this moment like a drama scene. But who would have thought that the reality of these idols can hurt more than a fictional scenario, and until now, there has not been a single official statement from HYB, from other members, even from Jungkook himself. Is this silence a form of protection, or is it an acknowledgement that something greater is happening? Clearly, the army is not just a spectator in this drama. They are a family who cry when they see their favorite members appear alone in the crowd. They were witnesses, trying to piece together pieces to understand what was really going on. Why is Taehyung's expression so blank when he sees Jungkook? Why isn't Jungkook looking at me? And even more haunting, what really happened before that morning? Is Jungkook moving away? Is this part of the healing process or avoidance? Because parting is not always said in words. Sometimes, just being silent, one person is enough to break someone else's heart. And that morning, at Incheon Airport, two friends who usually unite in laughter chose not to greet each other. The question now is, will they say hello again in the future? Or will their next meeting be a tear-filled one? The army is still waiting. The world is still wondering. But only they know what really happened in those 5 full minutes of silence. Seconds after Jungkook entered the immigration zone, a clip from fans in the same area went viral on social media. In the video, someone is heard whispering, "Jimin didn't come?" And the sentence immediately pierced the feelings of anyone who watched it. Yes, because usually, in important moments of departure or return, BTS members encourage each other, even if secretly. But not that day, and even more stifling. Minutes after news of Jungkook's departure spread widely, a fan site account known to be very close to Jimin uploaded a photo. Photos not taken at the airport, but from a studio window. Jimin looked at himself. Look outside. With a hoodie worn upside down. It was as if he was rushing out of the house, as if he didn't care. And the expression? Not just tense, but like losing direction. Did Jimin know that Jungkook was leaving that day? Or did he know, but chose not to come? If so, why? And if not, what does this mean? Is their communication really broken? ARMY began putting together small snippets from Jungkook's previous live shows, as he talked about the pressure he felt as a solo artist, about the guilt he felt if he didn't get close enough to other members because of being busy. In a moment that has now gone viral again, Jungkook once said softly, "Sometimes I feel too far away when I just need time to breathe." On the other hand, Jimin has said in his live that he feels too sensitive lately, that he feels things are changing too fast, and that he is trying to pursue something he doesn't even fully understand. Are the two talking about each other? Has time, distance, and the pressure of popularity really made even the most sincere relationships fragile? That day, at Incheon Airport, not only did an idol fly to another country, there is something bigger than just a plane taking off. There is a sense, there is a bond, there is a story that hangs in the Korean sky, and ironically, not a single word was said. Everything is stuck in the chest. It's all in the expression, all locked in a moment of silence that is now a public mystery. Some fans began to suspect that Jungkook's decision to go to America was not just because of work. Some say this is a kind of emotional pause. A need to get away from the crowd, from pressure, from internal conflicts. But conflict with whom? With himself? Or with someone who was once his closest reflection, Taehyung, who has long been known to be the most sensitive to Jungkook's emotional swings, chose total silence after this departure. No story.
No updates.
In fact, in a short live he did 2 days later, Taehyung just played the guitar and stared blankly at the camera. He smiled once, but it wasn't the same smile as usual. A smile is like a wound, not a happy expression. Some say that in the harmony of a large group like BTS, the emotional imbalance of one member can shake the other. And if it is true that Jungkook feels the need to disappear for a moment, then the question is, who will pull him back? Jimin, Taehyung, or nothing? And despite all that, fans also began to question HYB's role in this situation. Why wasn't Jungkook's departure clarified earlier? Why is there no stricter protection against rumors that have now grown into public restlessness? Is the company too busy taking care of the image to forget to take care of the artist's mental comfort? What's even sadder, a lot of ARMY feels like it's back to the dark times of 2018 to 2019, when rumors and pressure almost tore BTS's structure apart from the inside. Are we repeating history? But history doesn't have to end the same way, because now there are more caring eyes. There are more hearts willing to understand. But all can only be done if they themselves choose to be honest with each other. So far, none of them have spoken it because they are not ready, or because they don't want the public to know that they're not okay. The ARMY can only wait. Waiting on whether there will be live from Jungkook in America. Waiting if Jimin will upload something. Maybe a song, maybe a poem, or just an old photo. waiting to see if Taehyung will come back to sing with emotion, or just sit in front of the camera playing question mark minor notes, because in a world full of lenses and stages, sometimes the most painful thing is silence. And at TH, is it really about leaving for America? Or is it rather an emotional departure that goes much deeper than just the plane taking off? In the past, whenever one of the BTS members went abroad, there was at least warmth left. There are jokes on social media, there are small comments on Weverse. Even if it's just one emoji, it's enough to convince ARMY that all is well. But not this time. There is no emoji.
There is no like.
No comment. Even HYB's official account did not upload any official goodbye or schedule information. As if everything should be left a mystery, and that's where the fear grows. Because when there is no explanation, human beings will create their own narrative. They will fill the void with anxiety, assumptions, even the worst fears. And what currently fills ARMY's mind is not just what happened, but what will happen later. What if this is really the beginning of a breakup? What if Jungkook's departure wasn't just a work trip, but a form of self-isolation? What if Jimin's blank expression in the studio and Taehyung's reticence at the airport were signs that they weren't on one frequency anymore? Some say, it's just a phase. They'll be fine. But what if this is not an ordinary phase? What if this is a wound that the public has not been aware of all this time? A wound that slowly gapes in silence, because there is too much to hide behind a smile and a stage performance. In a recent interview, Jungkook said, "Sometimes people forget that we are human too. We have good and bad days. But we cannot always show it, because we are afraid to disappoint people." The phrase is now reverberating. And inevitably, the ARMY wondered, was today one of those bad days? And Jimin, the angel voice, once cried while singing the song Promise in his mini solo tour. "This song is for someone I really miss, but also for myself," she said. Who does he mean? Is there something he hasn't done before? Is this promise beginning to fade? Today, when the video of Jungkook's departure was juxtaposed with a photo of Jimin's expression, netizens noticed something very small, but piercing. Jungkook appeared to be wearing the same ring Jimin had worn at the awards ceremony a few years ago. The ring was once believed to be a symbol of their togetherness, not in a romantic context, but in the form of a promise between friends, not to leave each other. So, is today the ring just a remnant of a promise that failed to be kept? Or rather, the only hope that they still want to save everything? Nobody knows. But netizens were sensitive enough to see that Jimin's expression was not just tired or focused on work. There are unusual streaks of disappointment. There was emptiness in his eyes. And Taehyung, his silence was the loudest scream of the day. One person wrote on Twitter, "Tae always calms Jungkook down and Jimin always understands even before JK speaks. But today, they all look like they don't know each other." And the comment got more than 200,000 likes in a few hours. Because so many feel that sentence represents their heart's content. BTS is not just a group. They are a family built on trust, not blood. And like a family, they can also quarrel, can hurt each other, can even move away from each other. But the hope is always one. They will return. But what if this time, they don't know the way home? ARMY, who had been loyal support, is now the silent guardian of their loved relationship. They make threads, theories, poems, songs, even prayers, just so members know they're not alone. They are loved. They can cry, they can be fragile, as long as they don't give up on each other. But time goes on. And just as the plane carrying Jungkook disappeared in the sky, a shocking post appeared in the fan community, a voice note believed to be from BTS's rehearsals a few weeks earlier. Jimin's voice was heard saying, "If you leave without speaking, I don't know what to believe." Then another voice, which Jungkook suspected, replied quietly, "I'm afraid if I talk, everything will be more painful." Whether the voice note is genuine or engineered, it is not yet certain. But what is clear is that the sentence seems to justify all the worries that have been only in the form of conjecture. And in a matter of minutes, the key word, Jungkook left without speaking, became the #1 trending topic in Korea, Japan, and Brazil. That night, armies around the world seemed to hug each other from a distance. No one could explain the emptiness they felt, but all could feel it. Because it's not just their idols who are in the wound, they are also injured. And to this day,